Hello everyone. Hearthstone's journey to Un'Goro card reveal season continues, and so do the reviews. So in this video I want to take a look at what's going to probably be my favorite card in the new expansion, Elise the Trailblazer. Elise the Trailblazer is a spiritual successor to a League of Explorers card, Elise Starseeker. Elise Starseeker was a wonderful card in control decks, and well, by the time I'm filming this video it still is a card you can play in control decks for a little longer in standard format. It's rotating out soon. But it has kind of been overwhelmed by all the shades and stuff. But it was a really interesting card, because Elise gave you this effect that enabled you to replace your deck and hand with random legendary minions. So it enabled a whole control archetype that was running very heavy removal cards. Just trying to survive, play the Elise, then eventually get the map, get the monkey, so it had a couple of other conditions attached to it. And then turn all your excess removal into legendary minions and whack your opponent to death with them, if fatigue didn't kill them before that. It was a really fun archetype to play. I have really enjoyed it a lot. And actually, I still played it to Legend this season, season 36 in Hearthstone. So it's still viable, even though it does suffer in the hands of Jades. So, any spiritual successor to this card, I mean, I have to be excited, right? And I am. The new Elise is a little bit different. The new Elise, Elise the Trailblazer, is a 5-mana 5/5. And as a battle cry, it shuffles a sealed Un'Goro pack into your deck. Now, what is an Un'Goro pack? An Un'Goro pack is a 2-mana spell, and when you cast it, you basically open a pack of Un'Goro cards. So you will receive 5 random Un'Goro cards into your hand. Now, this pack is a little bit better than the regular pack, so you're guaranteed at least 1 epic card, and on average you will receive 1 legendary card each time you play the Un'Goro pack. Instant refill 5 cards. And that's not nearly all, because one of the key things here is that these 5 cards, they're really like a random pack. They can be from any class. So I do have my little reservations about this, because it can increase the power level of your deck a lot if you hit the right cards. Class cards are class cards for a reason. They can be extremely powerful when you get cards from another class and you can combine them with cards from your own class. So if you have, for example, ever faced a priest who's playing Jaraxxus. What? He's Jaraxxus with a free hero power. No! How did it all go so wrong? Wow, that was awesome. That Jaraxxus, man, Jaraxxus, best card against priest. Now he has it. And also, it's great for tempo value, because you get to play the pack for 2 mana. So let's say it's already turn 10, it's most likely you're at 10 mana when you get the pack. So you will have 8 mana remaining to play cards that are in the pack. So you will be able to play the pack, and then you will be able to take advantage of the cards you gain on that very same turn. So that's also a very key consideration, being able to maintain tempo throughout. Elise is a 5/5 viable tempo play, pack at 2 mana, able to play the contents of the pack, still good for tempo. You're not giving up any tempo when you use this card. So Elise has been compared to a couple of existing cards. One comparison is to Prince Malgasar, and for some reason this comparison keeps coming up, but I don't think it's a fair comparison at all. Prince Malgasar, when you start the game, Prince Malgasar shuffles 5 extra legendary minions into your deck. But actually, Prince Malgasar is kind of a trap card. It's not a really good card, because when you add in a bunch of cards to your deck, you're diluting your deck, you're making it more difficult for you to find the right cards that you want, and you also don't know the quality of these draws that you are getting added. So Prince Malchezaar actually is not that good. Whereas when you're playing with Elise, it shuffles the pack, so you only shuffle one card, and with that one card you get a 5-card refill. So it also serves as huge card draw, which is something that Malchezaar doesn't do at all. So there's also possible another comparison, a more apt comparison if you will, which is the Kabbalist's Tome, a mage spell that adds 3 random mage spells to your hand. Kabbalist's Tome is actually a pretty good card, because their mage decks have lots of synergies with running spells. You have stuff like Flame Waker, you have stuff like Antonidas. Even mage spells as themselves are pretty good. So Kabbalist's Tome has actually seen competitive play. The problem with Kabbalist's Tome is that you're sacrificing a whole lot of tempo. You have to spend 5 mana just to play the Tome. So even if you play it very late in the game, you will have very limited resources to actually use the cards that you gain. You will have 5 mana remaining at most. It's a bit awkward. It's slow, it's hard to fit in. You're sacrificing a lot of tempo for value, and sometimes you just can't afford to do that. Whereas with Elise the Trailblazer, you do not have to make this kind of decision. You can play Elise as a 5 mana 5/5. It's good play. You can play the pack for just 2 mana. You get a lot of value out of it, but you can also maintain the tempo because you can afford to use the pack, the contents of the pack, on the same turn. Overall, Elise the Trailblazer looks like a really solid and fun card to me. I expect that it's going to be a staple in any control deck, because control decks want to take the game long, so there's really no reason for you to avoid it. You can play it as a 5 mana 5/5, it's a good card, you get that refill, you might get some really sweet combinations and take the game. It might also see some play in some mid-range decks. Mid-range decks often start to run out of cards a bit later in the game. 5 mana 5/5 is a viable play, even in a mid-range deck. And then once you start running out of juice, okay, you can refill with the pack. It is obviously quite different than the old Elise was. The old Elise promoted an entire archetype based on lots of removal, tons of removal, and then whatever you have left over, you turn that into useful cards. Elise the Trailblazer doesn't do that for you. It doesn't turn your existing resources into something else. It only gives you added resources. So it's not quite the same kind of control archetype, but it's still a card that I believe is going to see play in just about any control deck in the future. One especially fun interaction that I'm looking forward to is going to be in Control Priest running Shadow Visions. You play Elise, you shuffle the pack into your deck, and you use Shadow Visions to discover a copy of the pack. So in the end you will be able to play 2 copies of the pack. That's going to be really amazing. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.